All right, we're back. Hopefully this one works. Welcome, I'm Kate, and we're going to do some garden yoga for strength training in getting the body prepped to get out in the outdoors. So let's go. So here's the plan. We're going to do some warm-ups. I've got 7 directions of the spine that we're going to do as our warm-ups. And then we will do some strength training. So hopefully you're ready to go. All right, so here's what we're going to start with. I'm going to show you the 7 directions of the spine. The first 2 being a forward fold and a back bend. I'm going to call them cat and cow because that's easier. And I'm going to do those at 3 different levels. I've got laterals, 3 different levels, twists at 3 different levels, and then axial extension, which we don't get around to as much, but we'll do 3 different types of that, and then we'll do some of our strength training. So let's start cat and cow. Seated looks like this. If you can sit cross-legged like this, hands under the knees. If it's more comfortable with the legs out, you can bring the hands under the thighs. So exhale, we're going to send the shoulder blades to the back wall, dip the chin, tuck the tailbone. That's our forward fold. I know it doesn't look like it. Inhale, up to cow. This is our back bend. So back and forth. You're going to pick how many you want to do. 3 sets of 9, 4 sets of 8, however you like to do your math. And you can end with a hold. So come into the pose, hold the pose, take a couple breaths. You can work up to 30 seconds or so. And then do the opposite one, hold. Excellent. And then back to neutral. So that's seated, cat and cow. Hands and knees, cat and cow. If you have a blanket or a towel you want to put under the knees, you can do that. So starting in a neutral spine, we're going to do our cat. Tuck the chin and the tailbone, shoulder blades up towards the ceiling. Inhale. That's our cow. So we want to keep the belly engaged so we're not dumping down towards the floor. And then exhale back to cat. So back and forth a couple times. And again, you can add a hold. Sorry, that's hard to say. Add a hold on either side. You're building up to 30 seconds. Keep the breath going. Excellent. All right, so let me show you cat and cow standing. So I'll do side view, starting with the cat. Bending the knees, hands on the thighs. That's our exhale breath. Inhale, rounding up, looking up. That's our back bend side. Back and forth between the 2. So what I'm suggesting is picking one of those 3. So you can do all of them standing, all of them seated, all on hands and knees. Excellent. You get the same idea, coming into a hold. 30 seconds or so. But I'm going to also suggest dynamic and then static. You can do dynamic again after you do the static, but start with dynamic and then do static. All right, laterals. So let's come back down. And if one of these that you like and you want to stick with that while I hop up and down and around, you can do that. So for lateral, we're talking about the side body. Opening up in between the rib cages and opening up between that last rib and the top of that iliac, the hip bone. Here we go. So one hand comes down, inhale, oops. Bring that other arm up and exhale, bring it back. Second side, we're going to push this hand into the floor as this other side rises. That keeps that opposite knee from popping up while you go over. And then exhale back. And then you decide how many rounds you like. And this one's my favorite, so I tend to do more of these. Although in gardening, you probably do a little bit more twisting than laterals. Excellent. And then doing a hold, if you like. Taking that breath in. Excellent. And then bring it back. We'll do the other side evenly. Excellent. And then coming back. Nice. All right. Hands and knees lateral. Looks like this. Coming into table. And then we're going to go like this. We're going to cross one hand over the other, turn and look at that back foot. Back to center, and then you do the other side. Or do same side a couple of times, and then switch. So those are your options with that. And then also, if you want to add a hold on at the end, take a couple breaths. Excellent. And then do it evenly on the other side. Excellent. And then back to center. Nice. Lateral standing. All right. So for that, come up a little bit here so I'm not smacking the wall. All right. Feet are a little bit wider, so our center of gravity is going to change a little bit. Hand on the hip or down that leg. And then we're going to inhale, bring that arm over. And then back. And then other side. So we're pushing that foot into the floor. And then back. Excellent. And then again, if you want to finish off with a static, breathing into it. See if you can breathe all the way up and down that side body from the foot to the fingers. I know you can't see my fingers right now. And then back, and then other side. And you can do this by counting the number of breaths you're taking, or if you have a timer and you want to set a timer. Excellent. And then bring it back. All right, so that was forward and back, side to side, and then next we're going to do our twists. So again, feet are nice and wide for that changing center of gravity. We're going to start with the seated. And if it's more comfortable to sit on a towel or blanket, you're always welcome to do that. And also, if you're in the habit of always having one foot crossed in front of the other, switch it up sometimes. All right, so nice and tall, inhale. On the exhale to the first side. Inhale, center. Exhale, second side. Inhale, back to center. Nice. And on this one again, also, you can do the hold. And I just want to make sure we want to do it even on each side. Excellent. And then back to center. So then for the twist, instead of hands and knees, which you can do if you prefer that, that would be a thread the needle. I'm going to do a supine twist. All right, so on the back, and then we're going to have the arms out into a T. We're going to cross one knee over the other and then drop the knees to the left. You can move the head either direction. Opposite from the knees is a little bit more intense. And then you can bring it back up and then go to the other side without switching the cross yet. And then the head can go opposite of the knees or the same direction, or if your neck prefers, looking straight up towards the ceiling. Nice. And come back to center, uncross, switch the cross, go back to the left side first again, and then the head, back to center, and then other side. So this one, you can do it dynamically first before you do it statically. And then for this one, just to do a little counter pose with some windshield wipers, if you like. Excellent. All right, so coming back up, nice and slow, you don't have to pop up like that. Our standing twist. All right, here we go. So again, inhale nice and tall. Okay. And then hands out to the side. They can be in a T or down closer to the body. And then just twisting side to side. You can also switch up what order you do this in. If you like to do twists better than laterals, you're welcome to do your twist before you do your lateral. You can also do those cat-cow movements again after you do the twisting. Excellent. All right. So that's our standing twist. Make sure you're breathing when you're moving. If you like to just go back and forth, just make sure you're breathing. If you don't want to go out, center, out. All right. So axial extension is next. Come back down to the floor. All right. And then let's see. Extending the legs all the way out. We're going to bring the arms up overhead. So we can do this dynamically with an inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms back down by our sides. So this is palm tree pose arms. And then also we can do it static. So extend the heels so the legs are zipped up. Extend the heels back, fingers forward. Excellent. And then coming back down. And then we're going to come back up. So you can roll over to the side and push up, or do the cross the ankles and roll up, however that works for you. Next one for our axial extension is the plank. So like any other warm-up that we've got options, and plank has a lot of options. So let's do our first option is to do one leg at a time. So we want to concentrate on that feeling, that sensation of the head forward and that heel back. Option 2, both legs back. And if you haven't done a lot of planks, start out slow and build up. And then the third option for our plank is to bring the elbows, come down on the forearms and clasp the hands together and extend the legs out. And you want to make sure you're breathing. Extend the heels back, top of the head forward. And again, coming down to the knees whenever you need to, but building that up as you go. That's really good for feeling that extension. And also it does so many other good things. All right. And then the last axial extension is our downward facing dog. So we have 3 options with that. We'll come back down for our regular downward facing dog. Curl the toes, lift the hips. And so the special sauce with this one is pushing the hands into the earth and extending the hips towards that back wall. So you may not see what I'm doing, but hopefully you can feel it. Okay, that's one option for the down dog. Second option is at a chair. And you might feel this more. So we're going to hold on to the chair and we're going to send the hips back. You can bend the knees. Excellent. Okay, so we'll take a couple breaths, and you can come in and out of that dynamically, bending the knees and extending. Excellent. All right, so walk it up. Last option is you can do that at like let's say your kitchen sink or somewhere on your counter, holding on. And same idea. Bend the knees a little bit, depending on how high it is. Maybe it's up here. Maybe you're taller, maybe you're shorter. And again, you can bend and straighten the knees, but you want that extension back with the hips. All right, so totally warmed up, right? You can pick how many sets and how many of each one that you want to do. If you don't have a lot of time, but you already feel warmed up, you can start going sooner. So the first one that we want to do is called farmer carries. And basically what we're doing is we're building this upper body strength safely. For example, not everybody has weights at home. If you don't go out and buy them. I'm sure you have something that you can use instead, but I'm just going to demonstrate posture with this just for the moment. So we want to make sure we're not rounded. We want to have that nice tall weight evenly distributed. The forward with the head and the shoulders, that puts a lot of pressure on that spine. And basically, you're just going to walk around and carry. So if you don't have specifically weights, that's totally fine. You can use milk jugs or tea jugs or whatever you've got. You want to do it evenly. I can only find one. Same idea. You can fill it with water, sand, rocks, and same idea. You're just going to carry it around. The other option with this is, and this is going to help build bicep strength. So 2 jugs or 2 weights. Same idea. You're going to carry it here instead of down here, walking around. So this is how we carry a lot of stuff, right? Logs and bags of mulch and dirt and that kind of stuff. So we want to get that proper posture, and we'll talk about that in another class. And again, just walking around. Start with 5 minutes, work up to 10, 15. And there you go. All right, so that was one. Then we have the posterior chain muscles. So that's the back body. Usually, typically, I'm not sure. I don't have numbers. But a lot of times we injure ourselves because we are using muscles that aren't strong or using them incorrectly. So what we want to do is build strength in those muscles so that they are firing and something else isn't that we don't want to. So we're going to start at the bottom and work our way up, starting with the calves. So if you have a chair, you can use it. If you have decent balance, you don't need it. That's totally fine. I'm just showing options here. And I'm going to say you can do it like this or like this. So we're just going to come up on the toes, inhale, come up, and then exhale down. So again, you're building up reps. And you can do this for a couple minutes. If this is super easy and you want to add to it, you can add the arms in, bring the arms up, and then come down. So that's going to challenge your balance a little bit more. Excellent. The other option is, like we did before, staying static. So not only is this good for the calves, but it helps build strength in the ankles. Excellent. So you can build up to 30 seconds here. Excellent. And then coming back down. And anytime you feel like you're getting tight or tense, you can shake it out. Excellent. All right. So the next one, we're going to look at the hamstrings. And to build strength in the hamstrings, a little difficult without equipment. So we're going to do a stretch and hold it. So hopefully that will work. The other thing we want to do is, instead of talking about having tight hamstrings, we're going to work on changing the name of stuff. All right, so here we go with the elephant walks. So if you have a chair, you want to start out with that. We're going to have the feet lined up. And we're going to bend one knee and extend the opposite leg back, like that. And again, you can come into a hold, working up to 30 seconds or more. If that one is too easy, we can come down to the floor and do the same thing. And you can always adjust where things are. So if you're on a sticky mat, know that you can pick your feet up and move them where it's more comfortable. Excellent. And then we're going to do the hold. Excellent. And then to come out, bring the arms out to the side, push the feet in, and bring the arms all the way up. Excellent. All right. So next one is one of my favorites to do, and I feel like this one really hits the garden demographic here. So I call them fold squats. I haven't come up with a better name, but it's very descriptive. So we're going to do a forward fold, and then we're going to squat back and forth. And again, so we'll do it dynamically and then add a hold. All right, so here's what it looks like. So we're going to inhale the arms up. Exhale, we're hinging at that hip joint. Fold forward. Knees can be soft. Inhale, come back up. And then squat. So just come down as far as you can. That feels comfortable, that you can come back up easily. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up. Exhale, squat. Inhale, come up. Fold. Up. Squat. And we'll stop there. And then we'll do our holds. We're going to exhale, fold forward. Hold that pose. If you can't reach the ground, that's okay. If you have blocks or a chair or your couch, you can just hold it right here. Excellent. And then we're going to come back up and then come down into that squat. So if you, if you have trouble keeping the heels on the ground in your squat, they pop up like this, you can work on that by coming onto a towel or a blanket. And usually that means there's a little bit of lack of ankle mobility or maybe a little tightness in the knees or hips. So there's yoga for that. So we can work on that another time. All right, so hold this. So what I want to say about this is if you're doing your garden work and you always do a specific task in a specific pattern, it's time to change the pattern. So for example, if you always weed and you squat, maybe you have sore knees afterwards or sore hips. All right, we're going to come out of the squat and then I'm going to come down here. So then maybe sometimes you're going to weed on your hands and knees. And sometimes you're going to weed bent over, so that you're not doing the same pattern and coming into injuring yourself with repetitive muscle injuries. All right, so we got the hamstrings, the glutes. Hopefully you're feeling that a little bit. If not, do some more reps or do longer holds. Let's do glutes next. If you have a block, I'm going to offer this up with using the block. So for the glutes, we're going to do bridge pose. We're going to do a couple of different options as you build up to strengthening. Typically, if we sit a lot or stand a lot, we have weak glutes. They're not firing, and sometimes that can cause the hamstrings to do the work or the back to do the work, which we don't want. We want the glutes to do the work. They're big, powerful muscles. Let's use them. So we'll do some glute bridges, and yeah, let's go. All right, so coming down onto the spine. If you have a block and you want to use it, you're welcome to do that. So what you're going to do is bring the block in between the thighs. And what that does is it activates the muscles. So maybe when you do bridge pose, you already are but a lot of people aren't firing even here. All right, so there's a lot of options to do with the bridge. So I'm going to show you 5. So I'm just going to do a couple of each. But if there's one that you really like that really works for you, just do that one. All right. First option is just the hips. Robot arms, fingers point up towards the ceiling or arms down by your side. So we're going to inhale and lift. And then exhale back down. Nice and slow. And then you can do that one. We'll do each one 3 times. Up. And back down. And last time like that. Push the feet in. Lift the hips up. And back down. Nice. Second one. Add the arms. Inhale up. Oops. Exhale back down. Again. And last one like that. Inhale, lift. And exhale back down. So any of these that we're doing, you can do them for a set and then do a hold. All right, the next one, I'm actually going to move down. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so this next one, I'm going to add an extra breath in because I really like the shoulder stretch that this gives me. So here we go. So we're going to inhale, come up. Arms up, hips up, and then exhale, release just the hips. See if you can feel that in that upper back, and then inhale again. Exhale, arms down by your sides. All right, again, inhale, arms up, hips up. Exhale, arms down, hips down. Oops, I did that one wrong, sorry. Hips come down, inhale again. Exhale, arms down by your sides. Excellent. All right, let's do that one more time. Inhale, arms up, hips up. Exhale, arms down, hips down. Sorry, I did it again, getting ahead of myself. Inhale again. Exhale, arms down by your sides. Okay, so we're going to remove the block, and we're going to do the fourth one. So here we go. So we're just going to have the arms down by your side, out a little from the body. Inhale, lift the hips. We're going to come up on the toes. The knees go out to the sides. Knees come in, hips down, heels down. 2 more. Inhale, lift the hips, up on the toes. Knees go out, knees come in, hips go down, heels go down. Nice. One last time. Inhale, lift. Up on the toes. Feet or knees out, sorry. Knees in. Hips down, heels down. Beautiful. And then our last one. So any of those you can do it dynamically and then do a hold. This last one is more of a hold one. So if you want to do a different bridge first and then this one. All right, so here we go. Arms stay down by your side. We're going to lift the hips up. And then we're going to lift one leg up. And you could do this dynamically, but this is, to me, more of a up and hold kind of thing. So building up to maybe 30 seconds. Excellent. And then we'll do the other side. You can come down and then come up again. And holding that leg up. Excellent. And then we'll bring the foot down, back down. And then for yogic perspective, I'm going to say a counter pose for this one because that's a lot of back bending. And if you're not used to back bending, you want to counter pose that. So apanasa, hands on the knees, bend the elbows, knees come in, straighten the arms, knees go out. So you probably want to do as many of these as you did bridge poses. If you have any kind of back issues, this one feels good. Or the palm tree pose arms. All right, so let's come up. You can either roll to the side or cross the ankles and roll up. And then let's come to, oh, you know what? We're going to stay down and we're going to do the core a little bit here. So we just did a bunch of stuff with the glutes. If you have a block, perfect. If you don't, you can have a towel or a blanket. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Okay, so we're going to come back up to that bridge and slide the block under, or the blanket or the towel, just so it's under that pelvis. All right, so we're going to leave one knee bent. We're going to extend the other leg out. So this may be your pose right here. So if you're not used to it, I mean, I feel like we're pretty good and warmed up. You don't want to do this one before your bridges, ideally. All right, so from here, if this is like, okay, no biggie, we're going to lift that leg up. So you can go just to horizontal with the floor, or parallel to the floor. Do your 3 rounds of 9 or 4 rounds of 8 or 12, whatever you like. Excellent. And again, putting a hold in. If you go up past that point, you're not really getting into the muscles that we're targeting. Not that that's wrong, but we're trying to light up the muscles that we want to do the work. So this is getting into that psoas and QL. Excellent. All right, so let's go to the other side. Hopefully you were counting how many you did. Do the same on this side. And you might notice, which I am right now, that one side is significantly stronger than the other. And what I'm going to suggest is, if you're finding a slight disparity, maybe 1 or 2 extra on the weaker side. But if it's a big one, work up to doing a few more each time on that side that's a little bit less strong. So for example, you do the weaker side, the stronger side, the weaker side. Excellent. All right, so hopefully that was even. Or if you want to go back to the side that wasn't as strong, you can do that. To come out, we're going to bend the knees, feet into the mat, lift the hips up, slide the block out, and come back down. All right, so that is for your psoas and your QL. And then for the lower back, we're going to do 2 poses. One is more for the upper and one's for the lower, but since we're going to be on our bellies, we're going to do both. All right. All right, so coming down onto the belly. If you need a rest pose, I call it alligator or crocodile. Bend the elbows, hands on top of each other, and then the forehead rests on the hands. Excellent. All right, so the first one we're going to do is we're going to do leg lifts here. So we did it on lifting from the front. Now we're doing it lifting from the back. So we're going to I have my head up so you can hear me. If I put my head down, you're not going to be able to hear me. But that's how I want you to do it, with the head down. And then we're going to lift the legs up. So one at a time. So you can do, I like to go every other one. But again, you can do on each side. So notice where the muscles are firing. So we're not working on the glutes, although they may be active here. And in order to make that less of a glute work and more of a leg and back activating, we're going to push the other leg down. So I can do it all in my glute, or I can do it in my leg and in my spine. Excellent. Okay, so do those evenly. And also, if you want to build up a hold for that one, you can do that as well. And then let's do the upper spine here. So you're going to bring the hands under the shoulders. And this is basically just baby cobra. And the idea is to do, instead of the arms pushing us up, we want the spine to do the work here again. All right, so hands under the shoulders. We're not even using the hands. You can lift them up off the floor. We're going to curl the chin down towards the chest. And we're lifting from the back of the neck, like that mother cat picking up the kitten. So we're going to lift up, pushing the pubic bone into the floor. And then you can turn and look up. Exhale, tuck the chin, and then let the body come back down. So I wouldn't overdo this one if you're not used to it. Inhale, come up, tuck the chin, look forward. Exhale, tuck the chin, and release the head back down. Excellent. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift. Look forward. This is where you would do the hold part. Exhale, back down. And last one. Inhale, lift. Looking forward. Exhale, drop the chin, and coming back down. Come into that rest pose. Or you can work on building up in a static position. All right, so we've got one more on the floor, and then we're going to come up to standing and then be about done. All right, so we're going to do, so we did plank. We're going to do side plank. So coming up to, there's obviously multiple ways to do this one too. So I'm going to suggest this one. You can do it with a straight arm, but that might be a little difficult if you haven't done it before. So we're going to come down onto the forearm and bring both legs out to the side. And this arm can be on the hip or on the floor if you feel a little wobbly. All right, so we don't want the hip down on the floor. We want that up. And this is starting. All right, and then come back down. And that's how you can do it dynamically, coming up and back down. Excellent. And then you want to do both sides. Up and down. Excellent. All right. So that one again, dynamically work up to a hold. Maybe eventually working up to plank marches. Let's see, back to this side. That might be a little hard. All right. So it's coming up with that. All right, not going to do that today, but that's the idea, working up to that strength. All right, so let's do last bit for the top, coming back up. So traps and lats, which is this little triangle and then into the sides there. So this one's a little hard to show because it's a very small movement. So tucking the elbows in, fingers out, or you can make a fist, thumbs up. And we're just gonna keep the elbows in and turn the hands out. We're gonna drop the shoulders down and then activate those muscles. If you can't feel that, keep trying. So we're getting the muscles in between the shoulder blades down here and up here. So let me see. I know you're not gonna be able to see anything. This one is more of a static one. I mean, you can do this, but you have to tighten those muscles. So start with 10 seconds and then release. Do it again. And release. And then building up to 30 seconds or longer. So that one, I'm going to suggest that you are gentle with yourself with that one, even though that's probably one of the best ones that we can do, is because in a lot of people, they are overstretched. So they're long and weak. And to tighten them, you want to do it gently so we're not causing cramps or spasms. A lot of people get upper back pain because those muscles are long and weak. Excellent. All right. The other one that I wanted to show you that kind of targets that same area. And this is my pretend counter. So counter's up here, presumably, but I'm going to show you, we'll do it like that. So putting the fingertips under the counter, and we're going to do that same thing, activating those muscles. So we're getting across the top of this and in those rhomboids behind those, the scapula, the shoulder blades. Again, count to 10 and then release. Do it again and release. And one more for good luck and release. Excellent. All right. So there's lots of other strengthening poses that you can do, but I think those are some really good ones that target the muscles that we're using when we're gardening. And then the other thing I'm going to suggest after you do a strength workout, to do a little easing of the body. So we just did that tightening all up in the back. So let's do a little loosening, and we'll just bring the arms up and just inhale, bring them up and release them. So you can do this on your spine, on your back. So actually, let's come down and we'll do that. We're going to do 2 here, and then we'll do a short shavasana or final relaxation pose. All right, so you can have your knees bent, feet on the mat, or legs extended, whatever feels better. You're going to inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, arms down by your side. Excellent. And then your choice if you want to do one-legged apanasana. So one knee comes in and then that foot goes down. This is our exhale and inhale. Or if you prefer, both knees in, exhale, knees in, inhale, knees out. So those 2 counter poses that we're doing are really nice for the whole spine to relax. This is something you can do in the morning before you get out of bed, or do it at night before you get into bed. And it just makes for a more relaxed body. Awesome. All right. So release that. Feet can come down to the mat. Knees can stay bent, or you can extend the legs out. And let's do a nice relaxing shavasana, since we're doing yoga, sort of. Some of it is yoga. Some of it's building up that strength. All right, so let's do a couple of breaths here. Just coming into your normal breath. Getting any last little wiggles out. Maybe tuck the shoulder blades together if that feels good. Bring a blanket over you or under your head. If you have a chair handy, you can bring your legs up on the chair. And see if you can Relax the toes. Relax the legs. Relax the arms. Relax the spine and all of the torso. Relax that neck. Do a lot of work with the head, and the neck needs some support. Relax the jaw. Smoothing the forehead and face. Letting go. Sinking into the earth. Take the next few moments and just be. Gently coming back into awareness. Or if you'd like, you can spend some more time in your Shavasana. If that feels good. You can bend the knees, rolling over onto one side or the other. Take a nice full breath here in the middle. And then when you're ready, inhale, pushing up to a comfortable seated position. And thank you for joining me. And it's snowing right now, but we'll be out in the garden soon. Namaste.